Hey everyone, this is Jamie from CapsuleComputers.com, and today we have Strike Suit Infinity. Strike Suit Infinity is a space sim. It's an action space sim. It's actually a lot more of an action. I only say space sims because you're flying a ship. So, I mean, really it's just, I guess, like an action space flight game. It's the little brother to Strike Suit Zero, which is a full campaign-based game. This one, Strike Suit Infinity, is an infinite arcade shoot-'em-up score chaser. So there are three strike suits. You're actually able to access the strike suit that originally was a Kickstarter only exclusive for Strike Suit Zero. Let's just hop into the game while I talk, because this will actually take a couple seconds to load. Anyways, the strike suits are a spaceship, but they also can transform into a very Japanese-style mecha. The mechas are actually, and the strike suits are actually designed by, I know I'm going to butcher this name, but Junji Okubo. He is the designer behind Appleseed Ex Machina and Steel Battalion. Born Ready Games tapped into him to design these strike suits, so we'll hop into the game.
Welcome to the UNE Combat Simulator.
The one thing I really like about the designs of these strike suits is, if you can see as I'm flying here, they actually really look like a mecha that is just kind of like folded in correctly to be more flight ready. So here we got our first wave already. This game is can be controlled by a mouse and keyboard. Mouse and keyboard, a joystick and keyboard, or a controller combo. I actually found that between the controller and the mouse and keyboard, this game is best suited for a mouse and keyboard. It just requires a degree of accuracy you just can't get with a controller. Now, I'm sure there is a crazy talented flight sim person out there who will just completely rock it with a keyboard joystick, but that is definitely not me. So these transports give you a little extra bonus score, so I'm going to chase it down here. As you can see, this is the strike suit mode. You can transform in and out as long as you have flux, and you get flux slowly as the game progresses and quickly as you just hose enemy down. Between waves, you're able to buy allies through different types of ships and whatnot, and upgrade their pilot skills to help you get through waves faster. However, you are limited to the amount of credits you have based on your performance in the previous level. Speed and, I guess, quickly hosing them down in combo shots will improve your combo meter and get you the higher score. So, flux, while you're in this strike suit mode, depletes as you fire your guns. So being able to balance out how you manage the flux is actually a really important part of this game, because the strike suit is ridiculously powerful and is pretty much a surefire way to rack up a lot of combos, because as you'll see a little later, while in strike suit mode, you're able to bounce between targets. Once you're destroyed, you can automatically shift your camera and lock on to the next target really quickly. Something you can't actually do in regular flight mode. So we're in between waves. There's I think 18 waves or 17. I forgot to write it down, but you can check it out in my review. I actually write down the correct amount of waves that you go through, and the very last wave is the infinite wave. They just keep throwing more and more and more and more and more at you until you die, and that is really tough. Upgrades, there are transport ships that will appear. They won't tell you about them, but they'll give you an audio cue. You'll see it in the next round, and you gotta chase them down, and that's where you get your upgrades, your new strike suits, and your permanent weapon changes. Now, what you can change in between rounds are your reinforcements. And this part of the gamble with this game is that you gotta decide, are you good enough that you'll be able to survive the next round without getting reinforcements so you can hoard your money for the next round that may be a little more difficult for you, or are you going to have so many problems with this round that you need to spend your reinforcements now just to get through it? So for this round, I know I should be okay on my own, so I'm just going to start investing in pilot upgrades for later rounds. And we'll just hop into this next round right now.
Wave incoming.
Now each round, for the most part, they're pretty much the same. It's this circular sort of... Oh, okay, missiles, so I'll just EMP that off. It's this circular sort of... well, it's more like spherical combat zone that you'll fight in. But some rounds you will get interference where you're not actually able to fire off the missiles like I am now. You're completely limited to your guns. As you can see, enemies can fire missiles at you too, and you are given an EMP that will sap some of your energy. So you can't fire off your EMP indiscriminately. You will actually have to balance that against your guns, or you can switch your guns to ammo-based guns and have more for your EMPs. It's pretty much based on your playstyle. So we got tons of flux here, so I'm going to demonstrate the strike suit mode. And as you can see, I'm just hitting a button, and it just locks us straight onto the next one, and I'm starting to rake in quite the combo here.
Cleared.
So here's a shuttle.
Wave incoming.
As you can see, they didn't actually tell me that the shuttle was here. I just had to chase it down on my own. And I completely missed that shuttle. One thing I did wish is that I wish that they explained how this upgrade, killing these shuttles worked. That they would actually killing these shuttles would actually give you the upgrades. I didn't actually find that out until I read on the forums, and it turns out there's a small tooltip somewhere in one of the loading screens that actually lets you know that that's how you get your upgrades. But for the longest time, I just had no idea where I was getting these random upgrades. So it's one thing I wish that they would address in a future patch.
Final wave.
So as you can see in the corner here, evading missiles will increase your combo multiplier. It really does encourage you the survival, long-term survival, learning how to dodge missiles. Very important. Unfortunately, I got nailed by that one. Strike Suit Zero recently they announced while during the Kickstarter, Strike Suit Zero, they did say that they were planning to implement Oculus Rift support. There's no actual word, however, if Strike Suit Infinity will get Oculus Rift support. But considering they're based on the same, pretty much the same game, I would actually be very surprised if Strike Suit Infinity doesn't get Oculus Rift support. However, that isn't going to be until this summer of 2013 anyways, so it's not something to really worry about since most people don't even have them, since Oculus Rift is still in developer mode anyway. So, as you can see, I'm pretty horrible at this game, but I hope I've given you a good look at Strike Suit Infinity. The game is available for $6.99 US, or whatever equivalent currency on Steam, and you can check out my full review on Strike Suit Infinity below, or you can just go to capsulecomputers.com and check it out. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time.